you look at what's happening in the world, sometimes you just try to fight for some sort of distraction. You can't just be inundated all the time with bad news, horrible stuff and everything. And, you know, I read a lot of news, I watch a lot of news, and sometimes you need a break. I was trying to take a break. I was on my phone. Terrible idea. But as I was on my phone, I saw something. Blew my mind. I like to watch combat sports. I like watching boxing, MMA, and stuff like that, because I look at all of them as chess matches. I look at all of them as these like physical chess matches with immediate consequences that are basically one skill set against another skill set, and what's going to happen, right? And so I was scrolling on my phone, and I saw this this match between what looked like two heavyweights, and one guy. You know, they were at that point where they were clearly tired and clearly like leaning on each other and everything, but not hugging yet, just like gloves to gloves. And then one guy threw I think it was a hook, and hit the other guy pretty clean, and his hair came off. This is the point where the audience is split between people who saw the video and people who didn't see the video. All right. In case you didn't see the video, I can describe it for you. Yeah, it was these two big old dudes, big guys, heavyweights, and he got punched, and his hair also, you know, like the reverb, you know, like he got punched, and then his hair reacted. And when I was watching this clip, I'm not gonna lie, I did a double take. I was like, what did I just see? You know, some people obviously have watched the video. I've watched it 6,000 times. This is crazy. Because when you watch that clip, when you watch the video, you're watching two fights. The first fight is between what looks like two heavyweights. The second fight is his hair trying to stay on his head. And believe me when I tell you it was a battle, because that first punch, he got hit, and then he took the punch, right? Absorbed it. Like, you know, you a big man used to taking big punches. That was nothing to him. He ate that one. But his hair, he got punched, but then his hair, you could see it in the video, his hair like, ow! And then he backed up a little bit. Man went ahead and punched him again. And one of the things I like about watching combat sports is you also get to see some of the preparation if they've made one of those mini docs ahead of time and everything. And then sometimes, depending on what promotion you're watching, they'll even give you some audio during the fight of the corner. What they're yelling at their fighter, whether it's instructions, whether it's encouragement, things that they shouldn't be doing. You know, you hear all of it. And I wonder if it could talk, I wonder what the toupee would have been saying. Because you know that toupee trying to coach. It was trying to, hey, move. You need to cover up. He hitting us. Because that second punch landed. Second punch landed, and you saw him once again. He didn't seem too hurt. He was over here, ooh, right? But his hair. And once again, he sort of absorbed it. I don't know how hurt he really was. It felt like you could see the toupee going, oh no! You see it go higher. It went further back. This toupee must have snapped its spine because he got hit again, and you saw the toupee like, bah! You gotta think about this thing from the other fighter's perspective for a second. Imagine you over here, you're a prize fighter, fighting another prize fighter, and y'all going at it. And then you punch him. And his hair comes off. I think if that happened to me, I would be like, I didn't know. They're already fighting. They're already trying to do each other bodily harm anyway. But that is such a weird thing to have happen. It's not even part of a threat. You see people out, like you might see people out in the streets, out in a bar, getting ready to fight, and you've seen it, especially when dudes about to fight. They're yelling all sorts of threats at each other. You know, I'm gonna bust you up, bust your head open, I'm gonna kill you when they're on. Never. Never ever heard two men ready to fight, mad enough to beat each other down. Never have I heard anybody go, I'm gonna knock your hair clean off. Believe that. Doesn't happen. Yeah, his hair got knocked off and it landed outside the ring. And somebody picked it up and put it in an empty seat. When you're fighting, you obviously, in any fight you engage in, you're trying to win, and if you are losing a fight, it can be devastating for you. It can be embarrassing, especially depending on who it's in front of. Is it in front of your friends? Is it in front of someone that you like, you know? Especially, I can't imagine fighting in front of a crowd and maybe not having the tools that you thought you had, maybe underestimating your opponent, and then they take advantage of a moment and maybe you get knocked out, whatever. I can't imagine the pressure of having people watch you fight. Or even if you're just out in the world and you're fighting in front of people that you might be trying to defend or you care about and you're losing. But it's even harder to imagine what it's like to have your toupee sitting ringside. I think about it from his perspective, you know. He's over here fighting his best, trying his best, going at it. And then he gets hit And maybe it was a hit that he didn't see coming. I wonder, did he think to himself when he got hit, whew, the room just got a little colder. Yeah, turn the air on in here. This is crazy. Oh, I think the only thing worse than getting your toupee knocked off during a televised fight is getting it knocked off by a bald man. Like the dude that... Once again, you never see two dudes out ready to fight, mad enough to beat each other down. You never see those two dudes going at it, and then before they fight, one says to the other, when I get done with you, you're gonna look like me. But you can't avoid the news forever. You can't, you know. This Epstein thing. 3.5 million more documents dropped. And that's basically like a total of like 6 million, because you gotta remember the millions that they kept finding after they said that there wasn't anything. Never. Even the history of the lottery, no one's ever been like, no, there's nothing here. Actually, there's millions, my bad. Remember, there was nothing for like a while, and then they were like, oh, we found a couple million, oh, we found 2 million. All right, look, this is embarrassing to admit. We did find 3.5 more million. I know, it's hard to tell if we're incompetent or we're lying. I know. It's very difficult. And it's insane to see what they talk like when they think that no one is listening. Because this is actually a whole... It is like a whole conspiracy. This is the thing that gets to me about what's happening right now. All right, is that based on... I'm not acting like I read 3.5 million documents. Just based on what I've read so far, I actually owe a lot of the conspiracy theorists I know an apology. GIB, it's very hard for me when it comes to the everything's connected people, you know? Because not everything feels connected. You know, you'll have people who are like, it's all connected. It's all connected, all right? All of it. Jean Benet, 9/11, and the tiger that went missing at the zoo. It's all connected. That's the other thing about my friends who say it's all connected. They stare, and it's like, if you would blink, I might be on board quicker. But the way that you can't just tell somebody, even if it's a fact, even if you're telling somebody the truth, you could be telling somebody the full truth. If you stare, it does take them out of what the truth is. You gotta stop. You might tell someone a fact, a thing that they know to be true, but if you stare afterwards, you kill your own momentum. You could be looking at your friend. It's Tuesday. Do you see how I don't care what day it is for a second? No, usually it's all connected people lose steam. Because even if they've got something going on with, okay, this is the other thing. I'm trying to help. This is me trying to help, all right? Even if things are all connected, okay? Y'all gotta get the yarn more organized. If you bring me into a room and there's pictures everywhere, but the yarn doing this, see how it's hard to follow? Because admittedly, the same thing that you're doing is what like the CIA, the FBI, like any investigative body does, except they just put the thing in the middle. And then they have all the other yarn pointing from that thing. So then you're like, huh, looks like that's the guy. You know, like you saw some of this broken down in timelines on the news, and they did that. They had Epstein in the middle, and then they had lines connecting to other people, and it was simple. You see Epstein in the middle, you see all the lines from them to Epstein, and maybe you could make some distinction. Oh, from him to him to him, okay. It wasn't over here, then over here, then over here, then over here, then over here. It's too hard to follow. And so I took my pride and I tried to swallow it, and I knew that, okay, I have to apologize to some people who have been saying so many things, were connected for a very long time. And I was like, all right, time to do it. I'm gonna see him. I know he's gonna be like, well. You know? And one of the most frustrating things about what is happening in this moment right now in front of us is that the same people, not all, but a lot of the same people who have always said it's all connected and look at this and blah, 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 like all that stuff, the people who, like, when you look at everything, do seem to have been right, you go to apologize to them and then they're like, oh no, not this. No, not the guy I like. No, there's no way. No, that's no. This was literally your whole thing. This was your whole thing for like a decade, and now, because it's the guy you like, all right, whatever. That would be like if someone came to you and said, I have proof that there are aliens in the universe, in another galaxy. They live like sentient beings. They're just like us, but in their own alien way. And I'm telling you, they're out there, right? I know that they're out there. And maybe you made fun of this person, maybe you ignored this person. And then finally one day, the sky opens up. A ship comes down low into the atmosphere. And then from that ship, little pods come out of that ship and they land here on Earth. When the pods open, these creatures step out. Oh, aliens. And just when you go to apologize to your friend who's been saying for like a decade or more that there were aliens, right as you're about to fix your lips to say, I'm so sorry that I didn't believe you, he goes, oh no, the ones I was talking about were green. These don't even look like aliens to me. If I'm being honest with you, I don't think that's, no, they faking it. That's a dude in a costume, I think. That's not a spaceship, that's a drone. You never seen a drone before? No, because when you look at these files, and you look at the correspondence between Epstein and these other people, another thing that is very important to remember for all of us, because for so long, as Americans, we've sort of equated money and any form of success with intelligence. We have sort of built up a meritocracy that doesn't exist. And so we see someone, if they have $1 billion, we're like, oh, they must deserve $1 billion. If they have more money than we could ever imagine, they must have like earned it somehow. They must be so smart that they just put it together. And maybe I'll be just like them one day and I'll be able to put it together. And maybe I can work my way up to get to their level. And one of the things about reading these emails that should be apparently, it should be so clear to you when you read some of the correspondence between these people is that these billionaires, these tech bros, these elite cannot spell. They cannot spell. They cannot spell. They probably cannot spell. They cannot spell. It is crazy. It's hard to read. It almost gives them some plausible deniability. If they were brought into court and told to read what they wrote, they might be like, I don't know what this is, to be honest with you. I don't know. They cannot. Predators that cannot read. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane. I was reading some of the emails. I was like, y'all not embarrassed? It's not even in code. It's literally, they'll be like, oh, would be great to see. Just the letter C. Oh, it's insane. We over here. We're over here trying to make sure we don't misspell anything. We even using AI sometimes in our emails to proofread before we send it. We always want to seem professional. We always want to have our stuff checked so that we can look like we know what we're talking about when we talk about things. Meanwhile, some of the richest people in the world over here misspelling vacation. Never think they're better than you. Never, never, never. You read some of these emails, especially, like when you really focus on the emails, because they have released, in some instances unredacted, they've released emails that were just drafts that Jeffrey Epstein saved, right? So you get to see some of the things that he wrote out that he maybe never even sent, but you see some of his like attempts at blackmail and some of his plans for people, you know. You also see emails, a lot of emails from Elon. Elon, but okay. Remember when Elon got into it with Trump, and then he was like, Trump, the big bomb that Trump is in the Epstein files, that's why I haven't come out yet. He tried to do that mic drop, and then, how stupid do you have to be? You didn't just throw stones while you lived in a glass house. You seem to have thrown the stone through your glass floor. This dude emailed Jeffrey Epstein and was over here. Hey, I'm looking to spend some time, have a vacation. It'd be great to hang out at the island with you. Like, you want to hang out at the island? I'd love to come to the island with you. And the girls, there'll be girls there. So let's go to I want to hang out at your island with you. And we'll do whatever stuff. I mean, I want to go crazy too. So whatever stuff you do, that's what I want to do. I want to do all the stuff that you do with the girls at your island. I want to be with you at your island doing stuff and whatever stuff you have in mind, like crazy stuff. Let's lose our minds. Let's go crazy together at your island. I'm surprised that Jeffrey Epstein did not think Elon Musk was the police. The way that this man was emailing so thirsty. This is the most narc email I've ever seen in my life. This man, oh no, with you and the girls, you know, because there'll be girls there, right? It's like, I've never seen somebody send an email like they were wearing a wire. This is absolutely insane. And Epstein was one of those dudes, sure, he couldn't spell. But he knew he was the devil. And he also knew, you know, okay, I shouldn't email plainly with everybody. And so he sends an email back to Elon that this is not the exact email, but it's like the gist of it is, you know, oh yeah, it'd be great to hang out and do some math together. Just throw something out there. Wink, wink. And it's hard to do a wink, wink with a man who doesn't blink. Because then Elon's like, why would I want to do math when I could be hanging out with the girls and you at the island? I don't want to do math. I want to be with the girls at the island with you. No, it'd be so fun. Look, we'll come over to the island where the girls are. You got girls, right? Yeah. This happened a couple times between Elon and Epstein. And Epstein would try to throw in like, some sort of like red herring or something, and Elon wouldn't catch on. And then finally he got to be like, do you think I'm stupid? No, I don't want to do math. I'm clearly like into doing the thing that you said, but just stop emailing like that. There was one time he was over here, man, I would love to come to the island with the girls and you. Be fun, be together, yeah, like bros with the girls at the island. We'll do whatever bad stuff you want to do, whatever you normally do. I'm here to have fun, so whatever you do, I just want to hang out at your house with you and do whatever it is that you do. Her great stories. And Epstein emailed back, and he was like, actually, I'm gonna be out of town. Look, I personally think that Elon is like one of the biggest criminals in human history because he's got so much power and he has so much money that even on a whim, even something as simple as a mistake that he could make could affect so many lives. He affects millions of people, and he does it, and he doesn't really care about the people that he affects. And so all of these bad things that happen, you can lay them at his feet. They are his fault, The things that Doge has cut, the things that we're gonna see as a result of those cuts, that is him. That's fully him. And so the only thing to me that is worse than being like a predator criminal is being a predator criminal that other predator criminals don't want to hang out with. Like, that's wild. This man was thirsty, and they were like, ugh. Like, we're talking about Epstein. We're talking about that you have to take one of the deepest looks in human history at yourself. If actual pedophiles are like, ugh, it's just the worst. Do you realize how insane that is? An actual secret cabal, like a secret cabal of trafficking predators have a group chat without you in it. That is insane. And then Elon over here, once the files drop, because he's been big on anybody else who was in the files. I'm big on anybody else who might even have that suspicion of being in the files. He loved to throw as many people as he could under the bus or use it as his own weapon to attack people's reputation. And I'm not defending anybody. If they're in the files and he was going after them, then let them go after each other. I don't care. I'm just saying that, like, that's a wild thing to do when you know you're in the files. In the files a lot. Like, you know what I mean? Like, for his part, Trump has at least been acting like somebody who's in the files and doesn't want the files to come out. Like, that's a wild thing for Elon to be like, he in there and he in there too. Because then Elon comes out spinning out when this DOJ drop happens. And he's like, if I wanted to hang out with young girls, I didn't need a creep like Epstein's help. How are you not in jail? How are you not in jail? How are you this bad? That's insane. That would be like you're sitting on the stand, and the prosecutor's coming after you, and he's like, these are your co-conspirators, right? He's the mastermind right there. You've already said to the police, you've already given your testimony that this man was the ringleader. And then you go, I didn't need him to do it. I could do it all by myself. No. Look, okay. Listen to me. I'm gonna tell you a story. We're gonna get through it together. I have some family down south, and my family down south, one of them moved into this nice suburban neighborhood, and it was picturesque. It's one of those things that are like real slice of America type place, something out of like a sitcom or a CBS drama. And it was one of those neighborhoods where, there'd be like nice little neighborhood cookout once a month. People come over, cook their specialties. People mostly hang out with each other, do little potlucks and everything. And he had a neighbor, maybe 2-3 doors down. And this neighbor was married, but he was also having an affair. Yeah. And one weekend, when his wife was out of town, his mistress came over. Mistress comes over, and they spend a little time together. And apparently what happened was the mistress said, I think it's time for you to leave your wife and be with me. And he said, oh, funny that you say that, because the reason that I called you here is I think it's time for us to break up. And his mistress killed him. All right. I know this is a very scary story. I'm in Atlantic City. Some of you are here with your mistresses right now. But anyway. So the mistress took him out, right? And then she went outside and smoked a cigarette. This is actually what got her caught, because there was, people passing by in the neighborhood, and they were like, why is this woman in lingerie smoking a cigarette outside of Larry's house? And she even finished the cigarette. She came outside, maybe calm her nerves, smoked a little bit, put it out, and went back upstairs, and I'm not totally sure how she did it, but apparently she revived him. She resuscitated him. Yeah, gave him CPR. Woke back up, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like if you kill somebody but you also revive them, that should break you even. That does seem, it's already so unlikely. Why fill out the paperwork? You did it, but you brought them back. Imagine that. Imagine if somebody kill you and then bring you back, and then you just pick up the argument where you left off. They over here. And you're like, and another thing. That's wild. Yeah, and then she brought him back.
How'd she kill him?
And then she did kill him again. And that feels excessive. Man, imagine being that mad. You already got him. Bring him back. Then, I don't know, maybe I'll argue some more. Maybe you're like, no, I was right. The whole reason I tell you that story is that when I first heard it, I couldn't believe that somebody would ever be that mad. You got him. They brought him back. I think you could probably call it good. I had never understood it. When I first heard that story, I was like, that seems so insane. There's so much anger to do that. Most people can't muster up to do it once. And you did it twice in the same 10 minutes. Truly, I never really understood what would make somebody do that until I was reading in the Epstein files. How did Melinda Gates not kill Bill twice? Man, okay, I don't know if you've read the part, but look, Bill Gates was cheating on Melinda Gates, apparently cheating on a decent amount, and it's one thing. Look, cheating is already very bad. Cheating is already wrong, and it breaks up lives and it breaks people's hearts and stuff. But getting cheated on by Bill Gates feels extra. You know what I mean? Okay, let's say I happen to be with Dua Lipa and she cheat on me, right? I'd have to take that one on the chin. I'd be like, all right, but you Dua Lipa. I'm surprised you're not, I was just happy for the time we spend together, Dua Lipa. You know what I mean? You know, like, because even if she was like, hey, I did this thing, I feel really bad, and I'm be like, oh, with who? And she's like, I don't know, list another like A-list celebrity. I'd be like, you know him? You know, like. But getting cheated on by Bill Gates, I'd be so mad. I'd be like, you already Bill Gates. You lucky I'm here. No, I'm cheated on by Bill Gates. Ugh. And so apparently this is like the timeline that's been strung together. Bill Gates denies all this stuff, just so you know, right? But basically, the timeline that seems to have been established is that Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Gates were hanging out, and Epstein got women and or girls for Bill Gates, and at one point, Bill Gates contracted an STI. And he didn't want Melinda Gates to find out. And so there's literally them going back and forth, Epstein and Bill Gates, about ways that Bill Gates can try to get antibiotics into Melinda Gates' food so she won't get it. I'm not a doctor. But if you trying to spike somebody's food with antibiotics, they got to have pretty much the same meal for a while, right? Like that. Yeah, this dude was out here. He was a fiend. He was over here hanging with Epstein. Epstein was helping him do all this stuff. Epstein, you know, I don't know if he fully introduced him to one of the mistresses, but at one point, Bill Gates was sleeping with his bridge coach. You know, bridge. In fact, if I read this right, Epstein got Bill Gates Adderall so he could play bridge better. This is why nobody should have $1 billion. You got all this money and you take an Adderall to play bridge better. You wasting it. You wasted, I can tell you wasting billions of dollars right now out here buying all the farmland and then paying for Adderall so you can play better at bridge. What a loser. You realize you out here taking performance enhancing drugs for bridge. You know bridge, you know the #1 pastime of nursing homes everywhere? How does that even help you? People sitting there, wow, he puts the cars down so fast. Ugh. Teaching Bill Gates' bridge. And that's when he makes his move on you. Yeah, because you know how romantic bridge is. You know, sometimes you got the cards in your hands, you can barely contain yourself. That's wild. And then Epstein was over here talking about how that relationship fizzled out. He said that Bill Gates left her penniless on her friend's couch. Said that the richest man in the world was a total cheapskate. And said that, you know, she needed money and Epstein gave her some. Do you know what that says about you? That you out here not only cheating on your wife, but leaving your mistress penniless, and Epstein helps her out. The whole thing is so insane, you know? Because I don't know what any of it will amount to or will mean. In other countries, there seem to be some real consequences starting. There's like real investigations starting, and then people are like stepping down or losing jobs and everything. And here, we're acting like we don't know what to do. That's insane. That doesn't make any sense. Just do whatever any of the countries does that does something about this. What should we do? I don't know. I mean, yeah, Congress needs to do their job, but I just don't think that's enough. I feel like if you are in the Epstein files, you know, some of these people aren't politicians. Some of these people aren't, you know, holding a public office that can be held to account like that, you know? No, I'm with you. I'm saying that if you see somebody, John Cena? I feel like, guys, I got this. Now we're just getting confused. Like, none of this is part of it. I was trying to lead to something, but yeah. Whoever, and yeah. No, it would be, as long as John Cena's not in the files, it would be great if people in the files just were walking around and living their lives thinking that they got away with this thing, and just when they think they're in the clear, somebody in the Epstein files, you know, and all thousands of them, you know, walking around, and maybe John Cena rolls up behind them and knocks their hair clean off. There was one day I went to visit my grandma, and there was like a big old like living room type area where people be watching TV or just chatting or reading a book or whatever. And there was, do y'all remember the commercials for like a Rascal? If you don't know what a Rascal was, it was some direct-to-consumer marketing that was going on TV where you were old and you were in your little chair, but they made it feel like a motorcycle. They made you feel like you could really hit that throttle on them, right? And then you could go off-road with the Rascal too. Like you could just be going over tree trunks and stuff like that without tipping and stuff. And so there was a guy who looked like he had a new Rascal, right? And it wasn't going fast for us. Like, if you could walk, it wasn't going fast. But if you were in a wheelchair and you hit that throttle, you zooming, right? And so you could tell he couldn't really handle it because his head was back while he was. So my man's head was like all the way back. Like he really couldn't look up, and which is crazy because I swear he was going this fast. Like, but my man is like, ah, right? It was incredible. My man is just, you know, and I'm sure in his mind, you know, because everything slows down a little bit as you get older, and now you go in walking speed again, and you haven't been walking for a while. So now all of a sudden you're like, wow, this is what I did when I was back in my 80s, right? So, because I don't know how old he was, but he was dusty, right? You know what I'm talking about. Don't do that. I'm not being mean. It's just at a certain age, no matter who you are, at a certain age, once you hit those like 90, like once you get up in the 9 in the front of the number for your age, there's just a level of like, there's a level of ashy that is time. Y'all want to act like y'all know what I'm talking about, but y'all know that sometimes people get flaky. Okay. I'm gonna move on. Anyway, so my man is zooming, right? He like, and then on the other side of this corner leading to the living room is this other guy who's like in a proper wheelchair, but it has like some little modifications. So I guess it's not a traditional wheelchair. Like he's not fully pushing it himself, but it looks like it has like some little levers on it. I don't know what it was, but it felt like a knockoff Rascal. Like it felt, you know what I mean? Like it felt like somebody sold him some damaged goods where they were like, no, it's a Rascal. He's like, I don't see the throttle anywhere. Just keep looking. It's a Rascal. And so he's going like really, really slow. And as they're getting closer, you know those math problems? You know those math problems where like if a train, you know what I'm talking about, right? If a train leaves Detroit at 5, going 60 miles per hour, and then a train leaves Louisiana going 80 miles per hour at 7 o'clock, when will they crash? Because then even in school, they'd be like, when will it crash? I'd be like, this is a dark. Why can't it just be a delivery or something? You wrote the textbook and you put in crash. Now I gotta figure out when everybody's gonna die. I'm not even allowed to warn them in this scenario. But anyway, basically this dude has like, he's kind of turning the wheel, but it looks like it's assisted somehow, and the other guy's zooming, and then I'm standing at the corner and I'm like, who do I try to warn? Because in my head for a second I was like, they gonna miss each other because this guy's going way too fast. And then I realized that he going fast for him. He going walking speed for us, and then this other guy is going nowhere. Like very, very slow, right? And then, I'm not proud of it, but it took me so long to make a decision because I was bad at math. It took me so long to make a decision that they did collide when they both got past the corner. The fast one hit the slow one, and he tipped. And he didn't tip. This is the worst part, actually. So he didn't tip, like his chair didn't tip, right? He just tipped from getting hit, and then he fell the rest of the way out. But while he was falling, he was hanging on. Like while he was falling, he was like, no! So he's screaming no, like he don't want to fall. And to be honest, I had time to get to him, but I was so shocked that this was happening. And so then he kept falling to the point where one foot was on the ground now. I was like, ooh, you could stand up. There's still time to stand up. But then he had tipped like booty over knee, and then he was hanging, and then the chair was tipping to the point where I was like, the chair gonna fall on you. And then he just sort of let himself spill, but his butt was already on the ground, but he was still screaming like he was in the air. And then he finally let go of the little handle that was at the front, and then he laid back. And I was like, I probably could have done something. Because to be fair, it was going to happen whether I was watching or not. That moment had nothing to do with me. I was just a witness. And that's how I felt about the debate last night. Because whether you watched it or you didn't watch it, okay, I watched the whole thing. I watched it top to bottom, and Okay. Everything happened that we, figured might happen. But this is the thing that I guess I can't get over. It happened so quickly. We were worried that like maybe an hour in, Biden might have like a senior moment or something. But he said, "No, I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start slow and I'm gonna ratchet up." Because early, maybe second question, maybe first question, I can't remember. But he said something. And he was kind of trying to get through it. And when he was trying to get through it, he started looking down while he was trying to get through it. And then he stopped talking. I don't know if there's been a deeper silence in my life than when that man stopped talking. It was still his turn. He had stopped saying anything. And while he was not talking, I was talking. Like while he had been like, right? Like once he got here, when he was looking down, I was like, fall. Just fall. You'll clear this whole thing out if you fall right now. This man has had the nerve to fall every day, except that day there. I'm yelling at the screen, fall! If that man had fallen, we'd be having a different conversation right now, right? If he had fallen, they would have scooped him up on a stretcher. It would have been like, look, the president had a great answer ready, but gravity is a Republican, so the odds were stacked against him. He's brave for even showing up against that red Republican elephant ass gravity. Oh, it was insane. I felt like I was going crazy because this is the thing that's infuriating, right? And I'll probably come back to it in a second, but the thing that I cannot get out of my head is that we all knew, and everything that happened is what we said would happen, and now pundits are talking to us on TV, on like legacy media, talking about what happened the way that we talk about what was gonna happen before it happened, and they want to convince us that they're worth watching. You ever tell somebody a story and then time passes and then one day they try to tell you your story like you didn't tell them the story, and you look at them like either you crazy or you think I'm crazy because I told you that. You're not bringing me any new information. That's what it feels like. It's like after the debate, I watched the after debate. And they were like, he is older. These are the same people, by the way, who have been like, no, we have to chase him around the White House. We can barely keep up with them. And I knew they were lying then. Because that's the thing. It's like he did so poorly. It fully distracts from the fact that Trump didn't do well either. But you know how, okay. One time, I was with some friends, and we were headed to a party. We get there, and there's like two more friends that we're waiting on, and one of them is supposed to bring all the drinks, right? And one of my friends had already poured out a beer, was drinking his beer, and when we were stepping outside, because it was like it was like an outdoor in front of the house sort of event, we're all on the lawn and everything, we see one of our friends who was supposed to bring the drinks, right, crash right into a light pole, right? And right when he crashed into the light pole, we all screamed, and a couple people ran over there. And then my friend who had poured the beer was like, oh my God, I dropped my drink, right? On its own, not good. In reference to something much bigger happening, nobody ended up caring, right? And that's how it felt. Like, it's insane. Like we are not crazy. We're not crazy, they're crazy. You know what I mean? We're not crazy, they're crazy. We said it already. They're crazy, they just don't listen. They don't listen. How do you not listen when it's everybody saying it? You know? Like, there was one time in particular where Biden was struggling to say something. And even Trump, even Donald Jail Trump, looked at Biden, and you could see it on his face. He was like, is this motherfucker all right? And you can tell because I'd never seen this on Trump's face ever. Trump had an actual eyebrow arc of concern. I've never seen him have that ever. He's never looked as phased to me as when he was looking at Biden next to him going, is it? Like, it wasn't an act. Trump was genuinely wincing, which concerns me because he was the closest to him, which means something worse was going on in person close to him than what we even saw. We think we up close because the camera's zooming in. No, Trump hears him fighting to breathe. It felt so terrible. It felt like when you're a kid, when you're a little kid, and you get into it with another little kid, and they're bullying you, right? And you tell that kid, my dad could be your dad. And then maybe you go home, and maybe you go home with a shiner, maybe you go home with some cuts and bruises, and your dad asks what happened. And you're like, hey, this kid's been bullying me, right? And I tried to tell my teacher, and she didn't do anything. And so your dad's like, okay, I'm gonna go to school. I'm gonna go to school tomorrow, we're gonna sort this out. And maybe he goes to pick you up and settle things up with the teacher right when the bully's dad comes and tries to settle things up with the teacher too, because his kid told him a different story, you know? His kid told him, hey, this kid's school is being a bitch, so I had to hold him down and everything. And the teacher is like, look, everyone's here, maybe we can mediate. And so they do that thing that schools do where they don't really know how to help. You know what I mean? They're just like, if you could stop, that'd be great. Or not, I didn't see it, so whatever. But don't fight, because we have a zero tolerance policy on violence, so even if you fight back, you're gonna get expelled, you know what I mean? So then, now it's just you and this kid that you know bullies you, and then him and his dad teaching him his ways, and your dad teaching you his ways, and now they're outside, you know? And maybe your dad tries to have a heart-to-heart with the other dad, because both two dads of kids, and so he says to him, he's like, hey, look, can you It was 1969. And then the bully dad goes, is this motherfucker all right? Like, it felt crazy. Because we knew. And we didn't know this exact thing would happen, but we knew we didn't feel good, and we knew we didn't feel good for months. You know what I mean? Before there was ever a debate. When we just knew it was going to be an election, we didn't feel good. That should tell everyone something. Not feeling good about an election that isn't even going to happen for another year, because we knew who the contenders were early on, right? Some people tried to run the Republican Party and they got washed, right? But we knew it was going to be Trump, and we knew it was going to be Biden for a very long time, and we didn't feel good since last year. And no one took that to heart, Republican or Democrat. People did not feel good, right? You ever get cold feet a year before the wedding? Because if so, maybe you shouldn't do it, you know? Maybe they're not the one. We're not crazy, they're crazy. You understand that, right? Like, it's not us. It's not us at all. Because, you know, we have eyes and ears and we use them or whatever. And that's the other thing that really stuck out to me, is that, you know, no one really talks about Trump's performance because of Biden's, but Trump didn't do that well. There was a lot of like open lying to the point where where do you do in that situation? Like, everyone was kind of trashing the moderators for not doing some live fact checking in the moment. Sure, but what do you do when somebody lies that much, and how they lied? Right? Because this is the thing. We found out last night that the tactics work. Trump lies fast. He talks so fast that when you hear the lie, you're like, but he didn't stutter, so it sounded kind of true. Like, I know it's not right because I was there. Because that's the other thing. He'll be lying about stuff that we were here. Like, we all remember him being president. We were here. So don't tell me it was different. I was then. And Biden, I'm assuming, is trying to tell the truth. He's saying something. But we found it that, like, you know, a fast lie beats an unintelligible truth. It does. Even in your personal lives, it does. Let's say you out with friends, right? Out with friends, and then let's say, you know, you've been bad. You've been terrible even. You did a little cheating, right? And then you get caught. And now they're holding the cell phone in front of you and they're like, who is this, right? And then you say, who is it? How am I supposed to know everybody that's in my phone? Do you know everybody that's in your phone? That's crazy. People got contacts in their phone all the time they don't remember. Sometimes I go through my phone and I look at my contacts and I'm like, who are these people? Who are any of these people? It's a lie that almost sounds kind of fairly true. Like, do you remember every contact in your phone all the time? No. Or let's say you were out and somebody tried to get you to be bad. They tried to get you. Try to get you to do some cheating. And you were like, no, I don't want to cheat. No, I love them. Get away from me, right? But later, let's say later, unbeknownst to you, one of your friends thinking they're doing you a favor or maybe playing around or playing too much, right? They hand your phone to that person and that person puts their number in your phone, right? So now when your partner is holding the phone to you, who is this in your phone? What's this number? And you try to tell the truth and you go, I was like, because before, in 1969, No? Because what do we do now? What's the plan? You know what I mean? What's the plan? Are we just gonna move on like nothing happened? Or are we gonna just hope for the best? What's really the plan? Because we're acting as if there aren't other people that can run. And we're acting that way because of the circular thinking. Because look, legacy media, sometimes I trash them. People in the DNC, sometimes I trash them. But the thing that they weren't wrong about is the reasoning that lets you land where you were before. It's not lazy. It's not out of not caring. It's out of not having a belief and knowing your options. That's what happens. And it happened to both parties, by the way, right? It happened in both scenarios where there were people in the national conventions of these parties not really sure where to go from here. And so you go with what worked last time, even if it's not going to work this time, you know? And I think it's tough. It's tough when you have something like that, right? Something where unequivocally we can all look at it and be like, yes, the man is old and maybe it wasn't his night, but this looks very bad and it does not inspire confidence in us. It doesn't inspire confidence in the people that we want to vote for this man, if nothing else, so the other man can't win, or because we really believe in the policies and the actions of this man, right? It doesn't help. And then you have people who are those could-be contenders, right? Because there's a conspiracy theory that I'd like to believe. And I'll share it with you, but I have no evidence for what I'm saying. There's a conspiracy that they wanted this debate. People in the DNC want this debate to be before the convention so that if he didn't perform well, there'd be time to rally behind someone else and replace him. I don't know if that's going to happen, but it looks like a setup. It looked like... looks like a setup if I ever seen one. Like, you know? Because the idea that he was at Camp David prepping for this debate for a week and that they actually made him prep, because he was hoarse. Why is this man hoarse? It's because they had him really talking like he was going to be out there dunking on Trump instead of just giving him a week-long nap. Let that man rest. Y'all worked him so hard he showed up with a cold. Set him up to fail, right? Because who else could it be, you know? Some people say Gavin Newsom. Gavin Newsom's a tough one, though, because then right after the debate, Gavin Newsom goes up there and does a full-on Ron DeSantis. Because remember when Ron DeSantis was running against Trump, he just didn't want to say Trump's name yet. He was like, I'm not running yet or whatever. And then it finally got time for them to run and he announced. And then he had a little bit of momentum, but then he had to go toe-to-toe with Trump and he didn't know how to do it. So he got aired out in front of everybody, right? I think Gavin Newsom had similar ideas. He was like, look, I'm going to support the president this time. I'm going to be in everybody's good graces. I'll run in 2028, right? But if there's ever a time, it's now. And it doesn't help when he goes on TV right after the debate and tries to negate everything that we just saw, because it makes me trust him less. You know what I mean? When they're asking him, how do you feel about his performance? I mean, he's like, oh, come on, everyone has an off night. That's happened to everybody. I've been alive for a while. That has not happened to me. You know? Or you get Gretchen Whitmer. Gretchen. You know what I like about Gretchen Whitmer? Gretchen Whitmer would be good because Gretchen Whitmer, they already tried to kidnap her. So they already tried to kidnap her, so that already right there is like that's a die of January 6th right there. So she has some experience, like when they come, you know what I mean? I don't know if this story resonated with people the way that it resonated with me, but they caught the Pennsylvania
convict that escaped and everything. All right, did you already know about this? Okay, so some of y'all didn't, so I'll explain it very quickly. Very, very quickly, I'll try to give you the rundown on what happened. Basically, there was this guy, and you can watch it, they released the footage of this dude escaping prison, right? He escaped prison, okay? So then this dude walks up. I should also mention, when I saw the escape, I was rooting for him to be like a burglar or like you know what I mean? Like something that you could bank rob or something you could really get in the story. Turns out he's a murderer. So I was like, please find him immediately. Please, please, please. He is killed. He is a killer, all right? And the worst part about him being a killer is he little. So he is a little killer, and that is the scariest type of killer. Bro, you are big. If you stood up to kill me, I'd be like, that makes sense. I'm getting killed by a man right now. You know what I mean? Like if a big man goes to kill, that looks like what he want to do anyway. Like if you a big dude and you kill, that all makes sense. But if you a little killer, if you just walking, I'm like that's. Because I don't know who he killed, what he did, but all I know is he's a killer and he little, so it must felt like Chucky coming at you when he was coming. Doesn't even feel like he take regular steps. He feel like they do that wind-up toy shit, you know what I'm talking about? Where he's like, murder, you know what I mean? And so I was freaked out by that. I was like, once they told me he was a killer, I was like, please catch him quick. So this is what he did. So basically, he walks up to two pillars that are in the prison, right? And he put his hand on one pillar. And he put his foot on the other pillar. And then this motherfucker moonwalked up until he got to the roof. I've only seen Jackie Chan do that in Rumble in the Bronx and Looney Tunes. Those are the only two that I've seen moonwalk up two pillars like that. And he did it like it was nothing. And then he jumped off the like side of the building, was on the roof, jumped over that wire, jumped off the building, and then ran into the bushes and stuff. And they couldn't find him because he little, okay? And this is the worst part. Okay, so he's so little that they locked down everybody. They made everyone in a like a wide radius stay inside. They were like, don't. Yeah, it was where? It was in my parents' backyard. He was in your parents' backyard? Ooh, okay, all right. So I'm gonna tell them the rest of the story, and then I gotta, no, okay. So I'm gonna tell, so then, okay. All right, so then this motherfucker is out, right? And so then they lock everybody down in a radius because they don't want anybody to leave the house because he's so little, they don't know where he could be. So he's so little that he could be under sinks. He could be in cabinets. They have no idea where this man could be. They were like, don't go outside. Don't go for your little run because when you come back in, he could be in your pants leg. He is just that little. This man is tiny as hell, all right? He's so little. Stay where you are. And they even locked down school. And a lot of people were upset and didn't understand why they did that. But I did. I got it immediately. He little. All he needs is a backpack and he one of the kids. Now he's even harder to find. Is he under a sink? Is he in home economics class? Like, where is it? So then, all right. So then this is as far as I know and what I saw, but I'm going to get a little bit more confirmation in a second. So then the way that they found him was also hilarious because then they found him, right? And they were using this like infrared to track where he could be because they knew he was in the woods. And him being in the woods makes the story even funnier. I'm not going to lie. Because him being in the woods like a Keebler elf, just like a little murdery, like, you know what I mean? So then they get the infrared. Then they find a pattern that they think is him. Then they release the like manhunt dogs, right? And so I'm not a cop. I don't really know what goes into it, but from what I've heard, this might be bad information. I'm just telling you what I heard, all right? The manhunt dogs aren't like the drug dogs. These dogs only get to go out to do manhunt stuff. So if they not on manhunt, they bored, right? So then they release these dogs. These dogs could not be happier. These dogs were out like, yes! The dogs were, you can see it on dogs' face, this is what we play for! This was the Super Bowl for those dogs, right? They were like, yeah! And so then the dog, like one of the dogs caught him, right? And they caught him. Like the dog got him, but got him. Like got him on the head. And the dog biting his whole head is just a testament to how little he is. Like, I'm surprised the dog didn't swallow him. Like, your whole head fit in the dog's mouth like a lion circus act? That's insane. He was in your parents' backyard. So, okay, and for a little while? Or like, how long was he in? And when he was in the backyard, was he just in between two blades of grass? Like, how did y'all not?
Ran through, and like cops let them know the next day, but it was like a night.
Oh, so he ran through your parents' backyard, and then the cops came to your parents the next day, and they were like, listen, he little and he was here. Which is not reassuring at all. It's like for a cop to come to your house and be like, this little motherfucker was here. And we still don't know where he is. He could still be here, all right? Check your collar, check behind your ear. Is he there? This was the littlest manhunt we've ever been on. It was like they were looking for Stuart Little. It was crazy. In your parents' back, and were your parents like freaked out by that? Oh, they weren't freaked out?
We locked our doors, so it was fine.
Your parents are like, we locked our doors, so it's all good. We closed the windows, it's fine. Was your dad acting like tough about it?
Absolutely not.
Oh, your dad? Okay. I thought maybe your dad would be like, I'm gonna step on that little motherfucker when I see him. Like, no, wow. Ooh. Oh, it almost feels weird to change the subject now, but I'm gonna try. I know. What do I do now? So, look. Confidence is not a meritocracy. One of the things that hurts men in their lives more than anything is not having confidence. And some men have so much confidence, and it's like completely unearned. You're like, where did it come from? Did it fall out of the sky and hit them? Was it like an asteroid? Where did they get this confidence? I'll give you an example. This happened last night, right? I was on a walk, right? I had just got some ice cream, a little sorbet, okay? I'm on my walk, I'm enjoying my strawberry sorbet, and I see next to me two beautiful, like truly, truly beautiful women, right? And we're all about to cross the street. And then as I was looking over at them, past them, I saw one of the raggiest dudes I've ever seen in my entire life, right? And he was on a bike, but it looked like a city bike, but it looked like it used to be a city bike. You know what I mean? You know, like when a city bike really been through it to where even city bike is like, you can keep this one. We don't. Like it looked decommissioned. Like it's like it wasn't even blue anymore. It was just busted looking. And he on the bike, right? And so then it wasn't. I mean, maybe it wasn't even a city bike because it had a chain on. Anyway. So he's riding the bike, okay? And he rides up to where the three of us are standing, and he immediately shoots his shot with these two women. I've never had broke bike shooting my shot confidence. And two women who look done up. Like they look like they just got, like it must be one of their birthdays or something. They look incredible. And he rolled up and he did the thing where he tried to slow down and he wanted to swerve on him. You could tell he wanted to swerve, but he couldn't get the handlebars in the right position. So, you know, he wanted to be like he wanted to you know what I mean? You know, like he wanted to like flip on him. But instead he was just like, how y'all doing, ladies? How y'all doing? And so all three of us turned. And I don't know why I turned. Like, but all three of us turned. And then he just proceeded to lay it on thick. He's like, how you doing? You know, y'all looking good tonight? And it's like, it was one of those things where I was like, where is it coming from? But then I thought to myself, I'm like, the place that misplaced confidence really comes from is it's a numbers game. Every man knows that it's a numbers game. And you have to remove your emotions from it because he knows in his head, if they say no to him, that literally just makes sense. So we can only go up from here. You wonder why raggedy dudes try it on with you? It's because they know you should say no. On the off chance you having a bad night, your confidence fucked up, you don't really have hope, and you say yes, that's my night. And so they at first they were going to ignore him, but then they saw that the light wasn't turning because we still had 20 seconds on this other one. So we knew it was going to be 20 seconds. So he's like, how y'all doing? Everything good? You want to hang out? What y'all doing later and everything? And then they were like, oh, no, we're good. Thank you so much and everything. And then he was like, all right, I mean, you missing out when you're not hanging out with Leroy. He said his name in the third person. Like, that, the confidence. Anyway, so then he's like, you're missing out if you're not out with Leroy. And then he went to like start up again, and you could tell you want to do the like when you're on a bike and you try to really get one going so you get high on it so you can really come down. So he tried to get high on it, and right then the chain broke, and so the chain broke on the bike, and then he just, without saying a word, just sort of got off the bike and started walking the bike away. He was like, all right, y'all missing out, but all right. One of my favorite like types of stories in the world are snitch stories. You know what I mean? Like when somebody is part of a criminal organization and they turn and they try to like not get caught. So, and I think it's because I'm a snitch. I am. Like, I'm such a snitch that when I was little, no kids wouldn't let me do dirty stuff with them because they were like, you gonna tell. And I was like, yeah, I would. Yeah. You're not even wrong. I really would. I would panic. I'd tell everybody. I'd tell everybody everything. I'd probably tell them stuff that didn't even happen. I'm telling them just to make the story feel full. My favorite snitch story of all time was this guy was in a gang and he got caught on some unrelated stuff. And then he turned state's evidence. Right? So then he started working with police, became a confidential informant, and was giving them everything on the gang as an enterprise. And then the day came that they had planned for so long. He was supposed to give them the time and the place to meet where the stash house was, when the stash house would have the most money, the most guns, and have everybody there. And so the day came, he called the police. Police bust in, and they're arresting everybody, and they're seizing everything. And there's video that leaked of it that then became part of a little documentary on it. And you can see in the thing that the cops, when they're busting in, forgot to arrest him. And so he knows he needs to be arrested. So as the cops are even running past him, he's like, oh no! Ow! Oh my God! What is happening? Ooh! Y'all, they got us. Oh no. And there's a little subtitle on the thing where the man is sitting on his hands, uncuffed, whispering to the cop, motherfucker, cuff me. What are you doing? You trying to get me killed? Man, you all have been so fantastic. Thank you so much. I'm Josh Johnson. I don't know if y'all saw my man who zoomed into court. All right, in case you didn't see it, basically, because of the pandemic, ever since the pandemic, court, like as in the American justice system, has started to let people zoom into some of their cases depending on what it is, which is very progressive. That's wild to let somebody zoom into court and go ahead and give me a head start if I'm found guilty. That's what it is to me. Like, imagine if I had court and they were like, you can zoom in from home. I'm like, all right. But a couple days later, they're like, Mr. Johnson, we find you guilty. Please report to. I'd be like, oh, yeah, I'll be right there. No, but basically, there's a court case where this judge and the lawyers are all in the courtroom, and they let the person that is accused of having a suspended license, they let him zoom into court. And so everybody's there except for him, right? And then he turns his mic and his camera on, and he is driving, all right? It's a suspended license case, but he driving. suspended license, but he's and not only is he driving, by the way, he really cutting the wheel when he turns. And so he turns his mic and his camera on, and you can see the judge. The judge is like, And even the judge is like, it's a suspended license case, right? And look, I don't know. I, thank goodness, have never had to go to court or Zoom court, all right? So I don't know what they have to do or what they don't have to do. But in my mind, like, why turn the camera on? Just turn the mic on. But maybe a condition of Zoom court is that you have to turn the camera on too, to make sure you pay attention and everything. Maybe, I don't know. But he turns his camera on, and the judge's like, "Sir, are you driving? Are you driving right now?" And he's like, he couldn't sound happier. My man is like, "Yes, Your Honor, I'm pulling up right now." Right? And I want to be clear, he's not pulling up to court. He's pulling up to the doctor's office, right? Because, you can sometimes run some errands while you're doing Zoom court, because you don't have to be there. Once again, this is very progressive. This is like real step forward. This is mind blow. I wonder who else they let Zoom into court. Like, that'd be funny if they let the bailiff Zoom in too. Like, the bailiff at home, but he like, "Stop it." Y'all, cut it out. Cut it out. Don't make me. I will mute everybody in here. I don't care. I'll shut it down. And so the judge is like, "Are you driving right now?" He's like, "Yes, but I'm pulling up. I'm about to park right now." And then the judge looks at everybody and goes like, "Wow." It's hard to make a judge say "wow." I've never tried it, but I've watched a lot of court on TV, and I can imagine "wow" isn't said often. I'm sure even the stenographer was sitting there like, and so then he pulls up, and the judge is like, "It's a suspended license case, right?" And then his lawyer is like, "Yes, Your Honor." And he's like, "But he's driving right now. Like, he in the car. Like, we can see him. I saw movement behind him, which means the car was in motion. He wasn't just sitting in a car." Which would still not be advisable to your suspended license case. But like, he wasn't saying car, just movement. They were like, "Yes, Your Honor." And then he was like, "Oh, okay." And the judge's name in this case is Cedric Simpson, right? So the guy driving is black. The judge is black. This man is black. He had a black judge, and he had a black judge named Cedric Simpson. He had the blackest judge possible. You had the blackest judge in America as a black man, and you are wasting all of it right now. This is Cedric Simpson. And the way my man was staring at the camera, and then he said, judge says, "Am I missing something here? Because I know the law. I know so much law, I'm a judge. And I don't know what's going on right now." And so then they were like, "No, Your Honor, you're correct. He's driving right now." And his lawyer just over here like, I've watched a lot of judging. I've watched Judge Judy. I've watched Judge Joe Brown, Judge Mathis, and never in the history of judging have I seen a black defendant with a black judge that just was looking at him, and you could tell that Cedric just wanted to be like, "Nigga." what are you doing? And so he's like, so he has a suspended license case, but he's driving right now. He's driving in front of us. It's on the record that he's driving. So, and then in this moment, you can see Corey is the guy that was driving, right? You can see him realize what's happening on camera. So now he making the face that the judge made, right? Like now he's like, and at one point, because you know how Zoom does, so anyone making noise, it highlights them for a second, right? And so the judge asked a question like, "Is a suspended license case?" And he was just driving right now in front of us, and you hear Corey go, and then basically, the Honorable Cedric Simpson was like, I'm gonna need you to drive to jail. But look, there's more to the case. There's actually an incredible amount more to the case, a disappointing amount more to the case, because basically this dude spends 2 days in jail, but then it comes to light, I don't know how, probably because of the virality of the clip, that there was actually some form of clerical error way back 2 years ago, so that his license should have never been suspended in the first place. So then he thought he was allowed to drive, right? And so then people come out of the woodwork apologizing, being like, that's so unfair. And then also it was a highlight of local government and how sometimes the government can get things wrong. There's too many people talking to each other. There's too much involved. There's too much paperwork. There's too many wires that can get crossed and everything, because they were like, oh, all you had to do was get this office to speak to this office to reinstate his license. But apparently they never did that, right? So now everyone, there was almost like a backlash to the backlash, where people were like, we messed up. We were all laughing this guy like, what an idiot. Turns out he thought he could drive and everything. So the internet did something it very rarely ever does, ever, for anyone, for any reason. And the internet almost collectively apologized to Corey, right? And it wasn't, obviously to the amount that everyone shared the clip and everyone laughed, but everyone had something to say. Everyone was like, this guy got done dirty and we didn't know enough information. And there was someone else who didn't know enough information, the Honorable Cedric Simpson. There was something about this whole thing that was not sitting right with him, right? And so when Corey showed up for court for this case, he tells Corey, he's like, I did some digging. I looked at the friend of the court office. I looked at, basically their DMV, looked at municipal offices, took it as far as he could take it, following a paperwork trail, right? As much as possible. And he said, Mr. Harris, who's Corey, you've actually never had a license. Like you never had a, I don't know how we got here. You've never had a license. And then Judge Simpson asked him, he's like, where were you? And I can't remember if he said 2022 or 2023, but he was like, where were you December of 2020, whatever? And he was like, oh, I think I was, still laid up from my accident and everything. He's like, actually, no, you were at the offices getting your state ID renewed, okay? Because you keep getting state IDs and you've never had a license. What are you doing, buddy? You clearly know how to drive. You should just take the test. And then it turns out, from digging deeper into Corey and into his cases and into his problems with traffic stops and everything like that, they found where he had actually admitted, apparently on body cam, to police that pulled him over, that he didn't have a license on a totally different time, right? So then he had to report back to jail, even though he was out on bond, because they found a bench warrant for his arrest from another time he was driving without a license. Corey loved driving without a license. Driving without a license is Corey's bread and butter. He loves, there's just something about driving without a license that's just, it's scrumptious. And I'm not gonna judge, because I've been there before in some way. You know, sometimes I do stuff I know I shouldn't do because it's a little bit more fun. You know, sometimes I'll go to a restaurant and I'll ask for a cup of water, and I get up to the machine and I hit that lemonade. You know what I mean? The sips just taste better when you know you're not supposed to have them. You know what I mean? Walking up to the foul machine like, this one's on a Wendy's. I got a newfound appreciation for moms this past week. I love my mom. I've always appreciated my mom, but I mean moms as a whole. You know what I mean? Because like the thing is, I was just at like an outing, and my friend who's a new mom. She had to run and do something, and so she asked me to hold her baby. When I tell you this was the heaviest baby, the baby didn't look heavy because it's little. So you think little means little weight, and the weight, she handed me the baby, and the baby is not helping me at all. Like the baby doesn't even wrap his little arm around my neck or anything. Just like the baby trying to be heavy, just doing this. In my arms, I'm like, and I'm fighting to hold this, but I've got him under the armpits, like fighting to hold him up, and I'm trying to do that thing because moms are really good at doing it. You know that little hike y'all do? You know what I'm talking about? Like the baby slipping a little, and you're talking to somebody, but the baby's on your hip, so you do a little hip, 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 and then you catch. I'm trying to do one of those, but I don't know how to do it. And my whole focus the entire time is do not drop this baby. Do not drop this baby. Your life will be over. The baby's life will be over. Just do not drop this baby. And so I've got it like this, and I'm just holding it out, but it's slipping because it's trying to slip. It's just like, and it's not wiggling, but it's just like it wants to be free so bad. And so I'm trying to hike it up real quick. And so I go for like a quick hike up where I was like, I don't want to shake them, but I want to, just pop them up real quick so I can readjust my grip, right? And I also don't want to throw, like, I'm not trying to put him up in the air. I'm just trying to get a little bit of distance between him and my hands so I can reposition my hands, right? And so then I try to hike him up, and right at the hike, the baby kicks me. So now he's out. He's not fully out of my hands, but he's at the tips of my fingers. And so I'm like, And now I'm holding him worse. Like now, like he's not upside down, but he's definitely not right side up. Like he's kind of sideways. And this baby is so heavy that my fingers are screaming. Like, I honestly, this is so embarrassing. I'm glad nobody was looking, because I was so scared I was gonna drop this baby that I was like, let me just, and so I went ahead and just slowly. Because if I drop the baby slow, it's not dropping the baby. I mean, so I was like, let me get him as close to the ground as I can while I got a grip on him, and then I can readjust from the ground. And honestly, okay, so I put him on the ground, and then I go to pick him up, because in my head, I'm like, now I can really cradle him. Now I can scoop the legs and scoop the back and cradle the head and stuff like that. Now I can really stand up with him and hold him like a baby, right? But if I thought the baby was heavy when he was handed, trying to pick this baby up from the ground was like Thor's hammer. I don't know what. It's like the baby ate in between me holding him here and putting him down. Because try to pick this baby up from the ground, I honestly had to use my legs. Like I really had to get in squat position. I finally picked this baby up, and I'm holding him like cradled, right? But now he over here trying to slip out of the edge and be upside down. And then just then his mom walks back over, and I'm holding. He's upside down now. I'm holding I'm holding his shoulder and his foot is kicking my chin. And I'm holding his stomach around. And she's like, thank you so much. It's like she didn't even know. She's like, thank you so much. She just writes him up. Walks off, and I was like, what is she made of? That's a 600-pound baby. I don't know if y'all saw what's been going on in the House of Representatives, but they they had it out. Ooh, that was better than Real Housewives. I'm not gonna lie, that was pretty good. Okay, in case you didn't see what happened, basically they were having a committee hearing, and I don't really know how they work. They use certain rules of order where they're like point of order, and there's like this moderator that doesn't do his job and stuff. And basically, Representative, I think her name was Jasmine Crockett, said to Marjorie Taylor Greene, she's like, do you know what we're talking about right now? Do you know what we're here for? And then Marjorie Taylor Greene said, I do know what we're here for. Do you know what we're here for? Because those fake eyelashes might be messing up your reading. And immediately, everyone had a reaction, and AOC was the one to be like, hey, can we strike this from the record? You can't do this. Like, this is crazy. You're not supposed to engage in personal attacks on appearance or personality during a hearing. Like, you have to have some form of order, right? And then the person that runs the committee that doesn't do his job was just sort of ignoring her. So then, they let it go. But before that, Marjorie Taylor turns to AOC and she's like, did I hurt your feelings or something? And then AOC said, girl, no. Baby girl, no. In case you aren't familiar, all right, a girl followed by a baby girl is equivalent to showing a Glock. I've never had a woman tell another woman in front of me, girl, baby girl, without something happening next. That's because it's such gentle language. Because it's two women talking to each other. So girl implies like my girl, hey girl, you know what I mean? Girl, and then baby girl. Baby girl is smaller than girl. Baby girl comes from an even gentler place, but is somehow much more violent. Baby girl. I'll put it this way. Girl is hair. Girl is, snatching up someone by their hair. Baby girl is choke. Baby girl is hands around the throat. One hand is baby, the other is girl. Baby girl. Whew. And then later, Representative Jasmine just asked the leader, the one who doesn't do his job. She was like, hey, I just want to check, just so I know the rules. I want to check if I were to say something about somebody's beach, blonde, bad built, botched body. And to be fair, look, I wasn't there. I don't know exactly what she said, because some people are like, bad beach blonde, bad built butch body, or beach blonde, bad built botched body. Either way, it's a bop. Either way. It's rare, and that was like kind of off the dome. That was incredible. That was one of those things where I was reading it. I've never read like a news magazine before and been like, beach blonde, bad built butch body. Man, get Metro booming on that one. That's crazy. So I don't know exactly what she said, but she was like, if I were to mention somebody's beach blonde, bad built, botched body, would that be engaging in personality attacks? And then a bunch of people on the Republican side made the same noise as the Democratic side before. And then they were like, this is not the time, blah, blah. And then Jasmine was like, no. Because y'all love to dish it out, but you can't take it. And then the article ended. And I was like, that's the problem with journalism today. That's what. Now I gotta go watch C-SPAN to see how it ended.
feel like one of the main things that I miss from being a kid is ooh. Do y'all remember ooh? Do y'all remember like ooh? What an incredible experience. Ooh is beautiful. You know what's so beautiful about it? It's one of those like communal experiences. No one teaches you how to do ooh when you're a kid. You know what I mean? No one sits you down and sometimes you're gonna want to clap, and sometimes you're gonna be like ooh. Like no, your parents never give you a talk like that. You just are a kid, and then maybe you're talking in class, everybody's talking in class, and then the teacher gets frustrated, turns around, points out one kid and goes, Mr. Perkins, and then all the kids go, ooh. It's beautiful. It's almost like a religious experience that you're having outside of church, you know what I mean? Everybody knew to do it at the same time. Like starting a good slow clap. When a real slow clap happens, you're like, wow, we really did it, y'all. Ooh is beautiful. And then as you get older, ooh starts to go away a little bit. You know, because we all have different experiences. When you're a kid, most kids have the same general big fears, right? Getting called out in the middle of class, getting embarrassed, something happening, somebody. But as you get older, everything starts to splinter off. Everything goes in different directions. And so one person's ooh is another person's nothing, right? It's very hard as an adult to have an ooh experience. So I treasure them now when I have them. It's beautiful. Like I was walking down the street one day and I was passing this bar, and there was a woman yelling at her boyfriend to the point that a crowd had gathered. Like it really felt like a street performance, the way that she was taking him to task. And she was like, I had one day off, JR. I had one day off and you ruined it. And he's like, I'm sorry. No, sorry's not enough. This has happened so many times. I have one day off, JR, and you ruined it. And then out of nowhere, she just swung and slapped him, right? Slapped him from everybody, and everybody was like, oh. And just like that, I was like, wow, I'm back in it. This is incredible. I went to a friend's wedding a while back, and the thing that was amazing to me about this wedding is just how personal it was, right? So it was a smaller wedding, so it wasn't like a huge room or anything, and the groom got his best friend to officiate the wedding, right? And I think that's kind of cool. You know, some people want someone, like if they have it at a church, they want like their pastor to do it, but just someone that makes it special, right? And then the couple, they wrote their own vows, which I also thought was pretty cool because it was very specific stuff to them that was like cute and was funny and stuff like that. And you can tell that the friend officiating was nervous because he was holding the mic, but it was like shaking in his hand, everything. It was all very, very sweet, right? And then it got that time to, you know, say like, do you take, and everything. And then, you know, Buddy looks at the groom and says, do you take Ashley to be your lawfully wedded wife? But Ashley was the groom's ex's name. Doesn't it? Doesn't it just feel good to just let it out? You know, admittedly, I don't know much about dating, but I do know white people. And the weather has a real effect on y'all. It's a nice day out, and every person I made eye contact with has told me. Y'all saw the sunlight today. You were delighted. I was outside, and somebody walked up to me outside and was like, what a day.
You know, and maybe it's just the New Yorker, but I was like, nah, I know, it's very good. They were like, nah, this is great. And in my head, I'm like, does it rain every other day or something? Good to know. Oh, I was happy for everyone. Everybody was having such a good time. You know, it's like the weather today felt like when your friend wants you to see a movie really bad, and then they watch it with you, but they watching you watch the movie to make sure you're enjoying it as much as. But then you're like, but I see it, and they're like, no, but are you paying attention? It's like, you not paying attention, you looking at me. There were a couple people I was concerned about. You know what I mean? Because there were a couple people. I was at the hotel, you know, I was chilling with Logan. We were about to go get something to eat. And there was one guy that was so happy he got upset. You know what I mean? Like we saw him, you know, past him on the way out of the elevator. He's like, it's a really nice day. I was like, oh, buddy, it sounds like you needed this one. This was... It sounded like one more day of rain, something was gonna happen, all right? I can see that same dude looking out the window. If I see another drop of rain, everybody dying. Then the clouds broke and he was like, yes, yes, yes. Because I was enjoying the weather too. I just didn't feel like I was doing a good enough job. Okay, you know, like when you go to like Six Flags or something and you having fun, but your friend is having the best time ever, to where you're like, I don't think we at the same place. You know, like y'all both walking up to the line for the Batman ride. I guess it's just perspective. I guess it's just when I walk up to the line, I see how long the line is. I'm like, oh, we gonna be standing here for 45 minutes. But he's looking up at the ride like, Batman. I'm like, yeah, buddy, yeah. Yeah, Batman, and we'll be there in 45 minutes. Oh. I had a realization that I'm getting older now, and as a man, like as a grown man, I'm actually too old now to get kidnapped. Like if I got snatched on the street and then they held me for ransom, as just, you know, as a man, you'd be like, nah, I live with y'all now. Like I can't. You can't send me back. That's too embarrassing. I just got snatched up like I was waiting for my mom after school. Y'all got me. We good. I'm part of the gang now. Don't. Yeah, send me back. Imagine, there's actually a statistic that nobody talks about. Thousands, I'm telling you, thousands of men go missing every year. We don't look, but thousands of men go missing. And I think it was 2021 where men going missing outpaced women going missing, right? And it's like an insane stat. When I was reading it, I didn't believe it. I was like, how is that possible? But I think it's because men know when they get snatched up, they're like, bro, just kill me, because I can't go back now. Imagine you a grown man with a family, right? You a grown man with children, and you got kidnapped, and then you come home and try to be the patriarch of your family, knowing you were a kidnapped man. You know what I mean? Knowing you a diet man, knowing you light. Standing there over your kid, telling him not to talk to strangers, and then your 8-year-old go. Well, Dad, between the two of us, I'm not the one that's been snatched up before. I'm not the one that's walking around irresponsibly.